Hello dear student, myself is Roshni Parikh, lecturer from Department of Electrical. Now today's topic of discussion is energy conservation approaches in industries. Now as we know that mostly 70% of electricity is consumed by the industries. So there is an ample opportunity to conserve the energy in the industries. Now how to conserve the energy in the industries? So various methods are listed here. See, first use of the energy efficient motor, second use of energy efficient light source, third that is the lightning design, means by keeping the energy efficient lightning design or employ the energy efficient lightning design. Then fourth one, that is the last one, that is the power factor improvement. Now today I am going to discuss each and every methods in the brief. Now first, that is the use of energy efficient motor. So mostly industries are employing the three-phase induction motor. So in a induction motor there are various losses are occurred, and due to that losses efficiency is a decreases. As we know that efficiency, that is the ratio of a output to the input power. Now what is the output power? Output power, that is the input minus losses. If the losses are more, then the efficiency output is a less and your efficiency is a reduced. So in a three-phase induction motor there are basically three types of losses are occurred, that is the iron losses, copper losses and the mechanical losses, and due to these losses the efficiencies are decreased. So iron losses are basically split into the hysteresis losses and the eddy current losses. Iron losses which are occurred into the stator and the rotor core. Now stator core and a rotor core. So how to reduce the iron losses? Same way, copper losses which are occurred into the winding, stator winding and the rotor winding, which are made by the copper. Same way, mechanical losses are that are split into the friction loss and windage loss. Friction loss means when the motor rotates, then what will happen? Your frictions are there at the bearing, so friction losses are there. And windage losses means your shaft starts to rotate, so it cuts the wind or it cuts the air, so windage losses are occurred. So due to these all losses, your there are lots of power consumptions are there, and that's why your output is a decrease, and that's why your efficiency is a decrease. So this is the performance characteristics of induction motor. See there, okay, in a performance characteristics, see, slip, current, power factor and efficiencies curves are drawn uh, with respect to the percentage of rated load and the percentage of the rated current. On the x-axis there is a percentage of rated load is there. So according to the load, your efficiency is a maximum when there is a full load is there. For the three-phase induction motor, efficiency is the maximum when it is run at the full load. Same way, when it is run at the full load, then what will happen? Your power factor is a improve. So if there is a reduction in the load, then what will happen? Your efficiency is a decrease. Same way, your power factor is also decreases. So how to improve the efficiency of the induction motor? So see, here a energy efficient motor is there. Now before start to learn about the energy efficient motor, I will explain you. Okay, in a three-phase induction motor, suppose you are going to employ the three-phase induction motor in the industries for any application. So due to these losses, as I discussed that, okay, due to the iron losses, copper losses and the mechanical losses, your efficiencies goes down. So how to improve the efficiency? So by reducing these losses. So how to reduce these losses? So see here, iron losses are split into the hysteresis and eddy current losses. Now as we know that hysteresis losses is reduced by using the uh, magnetic material which hysteresis coefficient is high, like the silicon steel. So always stator core and rotor core are made by the stampings and made from the silicon steel material. So by using the silicon steel material, you can reduce the hysteresis losses. Same way, what is the eddy current losses? Eddy current losses means that when motor start to rotate, the EMF is induced in the rotor core too, and due to that EMF is induced in the rotor core too, as well as the inner winding. Okay, suppose your motor start to rotate, your rotor core cut the magnetic field too, and your EMF is induced into the rotor core, and your current starts to flow through the into rotor core too. So that current is known as the eddy current, and due to that eddy current, your power losses are occurred. So to reduce that losses, always rotor core and the stator core are made by the thin lamination stamping. Means by employing the numbers of thin laminations, you can reduce the eddy current losses. Now copper losses means in a three-phase induction motor, stator windings are there and the rotor windings are there, both are made from the copper material. So in a copper losses, see how to reduce the losses. So copper losses, that is the I square R losses. Now it is directly proportional to the load current and also resistance. So how to reduce the resistance? So as we know that R is equal to rho L by A. So R is inversely proportional to the cross section area of the conductor. If you increase the cross section area of the conductor, your R is a decrease. So by employing the larger diameter of the conductor, you can reduce the copper losses. Now third one, that is the mechanical losses. Mechanical losses are split into the friction and the windage losses. So friction losses you can be reduced by using the carbon brush, means carbon materials of a brush, so there is a less frictions are there. Same way windage losses you can reduce by using the good ventilating system. So this way you can reduce these losses, and you can increase the efficiency of the motor and save the energy. Another method is use the energy efficient motor instead of using the three-phase induction motor or any AC motor. Now what is the energy efficient motor? Energy efficient motor means the motor whose efficiency is a 3 to 5% higher than the, or a 3 to 6% higher than the standard motor. So if efficiency is more, then what will happen? Losses are less. Then if losses are less, then there is a less heating is there. Same way reduction in noise is there. Effect of change in load is less in the energy efficient motor, and energy efficient motor can withstand the overload compared to the three-phase induction motor. So you can employ the energy efficient motor to improve the, means to conserve the energy into the industries sector. Now energy conservation using the soft starter, that is other parameter to conserve the energy by using the soft starter. As we know that a starter is used to limit the starting current. Now in a three-phase induction motor, there are various types of starter we are using, but instead of using that mechanical starter, you can employ the soft starter. Soft starter function is there, okay, to limit the starting current, and basically it is employed at the place where the motor is needed to make on and off again and again, and if jerk is introduced at the time of starting due to the step voltage. So better to use the soft starter instead of using the mechanical starter. Now what is the soft starter? So soft starter is basically there is no moving parts into the soft starter, and in this soft starter it compares the phase angle between the load current and the supplied voltage, and one feedback signal is generated, and that feedback signal is given to the, or compared to the reference signal, and after comparison, if error signal is generated, then that error signal is act as the gate signal for the SCR, and then SCR output is given to the input of the motor. This way soft starter is a called a electronic starter or a stator voltage starter. So in a soft starter, basically we are employing the semiconductor devices to limit the starting current. So as there is a no moving parts are there, there are ample opportunities to conserve the energy into the soft starter. Now another method, that is the power factor improvement. Now before starting the power factor improvement method, you should know what is the power factor. Power factor, that is the angle between the voltage and current factor. As we noted, power factor, that is the cosine angle between the voltage and current factor. Another definition you can give that a ratio of the resistance to impedance or a ratio of active power to the apparent power. Now what are the causes of low power factor? The causes of low power factor is that, okay, if you are running a load at a low power factor, then what will happen? The causes are that load characteristics first. Okay, due to the nature of the load, there may be a chances of having a low power factor. Then another increase in a system voltage. Okay, suddenly if there is a increase in a system voltage, then the your power factor will be reduced. Then improper maintenance of the motor, and last one, that is the overheating of the equipment. Now first, that is the load characteristic. Load characteristics means that in industries, mostly all the loads are a RL type, and in a RL type means there is a presence of the inductors are there. So due to the RL nature, always the power factor is a lagging. If I say induction motor, तो in a induction motor winding is there, and due to that winding it is called a RL type load. So power factor is always a lagging, and induction motors power factor, that is a 0.75 to 0.8 lagging if it is run at a full load. If you run at a half load, then its power factor will be reduced to the 0.6 to 0.7, and if the load is a quarter half, then the power factor would be a 0.5 lagging power, 0.5 lagging. So same way, the power factor of the fan, that is the around a 0.6 to 0.8 lagging. Then the induction furnace also the 0.6 to 0.7 lagging. So these all are the RL type load, means the nature, that is the RL type. So power factor always be a lagging. So due to that, that is the one causes of the low power factor, that is the nature of the load, means the load characteristic. All the load which we are employing, that are the RL in the nature, that's why. Another, that is the increase in a system voltage. Suppose if I say during the off peak period system voltage is suddenly rise, then what will happen? If system voltage is rise, then the current is reduced, and it will draw the high magnetic current initially. So due to the high magnetizing current, your power factor is the reduced. Same way, third, that is the improper maintenance of the motor. Suppose you are going to do the maintenance of the three-phase induction motor periodically, and suppose if you are going to rewind the winding, then instead of using the correct gauge of the wire, if you are employ the another gauge of the wire, then there may be a chances of the reduced power factor. Then another, suppose due to the during the maintenance, if the air gap is increased between the stator core and the rotor core, then also there may be a chances of low power factor. So improper maintenance of the motor, that is the also one cause of the low power factor. And last one, that is the overrating of the equipment. Overrating of equipment means what? Okay, suppose if you are going to employ any equipment of the higher rating. Suppose if you want a 5 HP motor, but you are going to employ a 10 HP motor, then what will happen? Okay, it is called a overrating, means you are employing the overrating of equipment for your application. So if you are employing a 10 HP motor instead of using the instead of employing the 5 HP motor, then your motor is run at a partial load. So power factor, that will be a reduced. As I said that in the three-phase induction motor, if you run at a full load, then the efficiency will be a maximum and power factor is a high. But if you run at a half load, then the efficiency is the reduced. according to the reduction in the load, and same way power factor is 2. So always choose a correct rating of the motor for the application. If you want a 5 HP motor for the application, then choose the 5 HP of the motor. Don't go for the overrating of the equipment. These are the one causes of the low power factor. Now what is the disadvantages of the low power factor? So disadvantages of low power factor is that due to the low power factor, as we know that power factor cos phi is equal to what? Cos phi is equal to true power upon apparent power. Apparent power means kVA. So more kVA is required for the same power, and so equipment must be designed for the more kVA. Now with the low power factor, current get increase. So what will happen? You need to larger size of the cable, and if you employ the larger size of the cable, then the cost of the increase. So overall cost is also increased. Due to the high value of a current, voltage drop is decreased, and which gives the bad voltage regulation, and efficiency is also decreases. But if a plant is operated at a low power factor, then they have to pay the penalty against the low power factor. Now how to improve the power factor? So, and these are the advantages of the power factor improvement. So if you improve the power factor, then the less kVA rating is required, and your overall size is reduced for the, and also cost is reduced. Same the cable size get reduced. So due to the low value of the current, so cost of the cable also reduced, and voltage drop is increased. So voltage regulation will be better. Then the less heating is there, and the high efficiency you will get. So methods of power factor improvement. These are the various method of the power factor improvement. First, that is the use of a energy efficient motor. As I said that instead of using the standard motor, you can use the energy efficient motor like a synchronous motor, and etc. Then use of the phase advancer. Phase advancer means के AC exciter is placed on the 3-phase induction motor shaft which excite the rotor winding. So it is called a phase advancer. So use of the phase advancer. Then another method, that is the use of a capacitor booster. Capacitor booster are basically used to improve the power factor of the transmission line. If you placed at the receiving end, then you will get the better power factor, means you can improve the power factor. Then use of the synchronous condenser or a synchronous motor. Synchronous condenser is basically used to improve the power factor of the transmission line. Synchronous condenser means the over-excited synchronous motor running at a no load, which is connected at the end of the transmission line across the load to improve the power factor. And synchronous condenser is a over-excited synchronous motor which is running at a no load. No mechanical load is given to the motor. And last one, that is the use of a static capacitor. Static capacitor means connect the capacitor across the load, and if your load is a 3-phase, then connect the capacitor in a star or in a delta across the load. So you will get the better power factor, because the kVAR of the capacitor compensates your lagging kVAR of the load. So these are the various methods to improve the power factor, or you can employ any one of these. Now harmonic, that is also one causes to consume the more energy. So what is the harmonic? Harmonic is basically a disturbance, you can say. If I say that my frequency is a 50 hertz supply frequency, so that supply frequency is considered as a fundamental frequency. So if your sine wave is not a pure, but some disturbances are introduced into the pure sine wave, then it is considered as the harmonic. And a harmonic having the order like second harmonic, third harmonic, fifth harmonic, seventh harmonic, and a harmonic frequency, that is the multiple of the your harmonic frequency, that is the multiple integrations of the fundamental frequency. If I say my third harmonic is there, so frequency of the third harmonic, that is the 3 into the fundamental frequency. So 3 into the 50, that is the 150 hertz. Same way seventh harmonic, 50 into 7. So it is the multiple integrations of the fundamental frequency. Due to the harmonic, your nature nature of the sine wave is a disturb. So that's why harmonic introduces the, when the harmonic are introduced, then what will happen, your oscillations are introduced, and there is a more heatings are produced into the machines or a motor. So see, one, that is the variable speed drive. Variable speed drive is basically used in any motor. It is necessary to change the speed, means to vary the or to change the speed accordingly the change in a load. So two methods are there, variable speed drive or you can say variable frequency drive. Variable speed drive is used for the DC motor, variable frequency drive is used for the AC motor. So variable speed drive method is used to change the frequency of the DC motor, and variable frequency drive is used to change the speed of a AC motor. Now speed is N is equal to 120 F by P, means speed is directly proportional to the frequency. If you change the frequency, your speed is a change, and if your speed is a change according to the change in a load, then there may be a chances of the conserve the energy into the AC motor. So basically it is the block diagram of a variable frequency drive, variable voltage, variable frequency drive, in which one bridge rectifier is there, three-phase bridge rectifier is there, which convert your AC voltage into the DC voltage. Then one filter is there to one filter in filter circuit capacitor is there to smooth the DC, and that DC is given to the inverter. Now inverter, that is the convert your DC into the variable AC voltage. So at the output side you can get the variable voltage of the variable frequency at the output side, and you will get to and that output is given to the to run the three-phase induction motor. So see, output of the inverter, that is the variable voltage. So by varying the voltage you can also change the speed, and you can also control the speed of the three-phase induction motor same way. See here, voltage and frequency control is there. So in an inverter, there is we are mostly employing the SCR, silicon control rectifier, or any power electronics device which having a control terminal. So if you are going to employ the SCR, then by controlling the gate pulse you can control the output, and by controlling the output you can control the speed of a motor. So these are the basic method to change the speed or to control the speed of a AC motor. Now energy conservations in a ventilations and the air conditioning. How to conserve the energy in the AC? So these are the basic steps. Okay, keep door and window shut when the AC is on. Same way, use the ceiling fan of windows. Use ceiling fan instead of the window fan when AC is on. When AC is on, then usual practice to shut off the windows fan, and you can be use the ceiling fan. Then use the double door automatic door closer or a double glazed window. Then measure energy consumptions of a compressor at regular time interval, means you should do a maintenance periodically and the regularly. Same way, do proper cleaning, inspection and the maintenance of the machine. Then other, that is the use the higher efficient of the compressor are in the daily use of the AC, where the AC usage is more, and for the standby you can use the low efficient compressor too. So these are the methods which are employing to conserve the energy into the ventilations and the air conditioning system. Now energy conservations in the air compressor. Now how to conserve the energy in the air compressor? So keep low temperature at the compressor inlet, because the 3% increase in the temperature of inlet can increase 1% increase in the power consumption. So always make the habit to lower the temperature at the compressor inlet, because if you increase the temperature, suppose the temperature is increased, then directly increase in the power consumption. Same way, decrease discharge pressure, because 10% decrease in discharge pressure can save the 5% of energy. Then again, do the regular maintenance and measure compressor output per unit electrical input at a regular interval. Now energy conservations in a pump. How to conserve the energy in a pump? So use the proper rating of the pump. Then they use the throttling valve for fuel control. Then use 2-3 pumps instead of only one pump where there is change in a load condition. If there is a change in a load condition, then what will happen? Instead of employing the 2-3 pumps, only employ the one pump. So you can easily control the pump when there is a change in a load. Then do proper installation of the pump. Then use synthetic belt in place of a V belt. If you use the synthetic belt, then there is a chances of the conserve the energy. Then also do the regular maintenance, use good quality of the PVC pipes, and use lace turns and the use bands in turns in place of the elbow. So these are the various methods to conserve the energy in the pump. Same way, energy conservations in a fan and a blowers. So in a fan and a blowers, select the fan and fan of the proper characteristics. Then operate fan at a best efficiency point. Okay, you have to choose the fan at which point it will give the high efficiency. So operate on that point. Then do regular maintenance. Then an air inlet should be a smooth. Then there should be no any obstruction in inlet and outlet, particularly for the fan and blowers. For the exhaust fan, we can say. Then use a belt at low slip. Then remove leakage in the duct. Use variable speed drive to change the speed of the fan and the blowers. So these are the methods to employ, and these are the points to conserve the energy in a fan and blowers. Now energy conservations in a boiler. So basically use the treated water. Then the control air supply in a furnace by checking the flame color. Means you can control the air supply. Okay, how what is the amount of the air which is going into the furnace, wherever, by checking the flame color. Same way, remove chute from the tube. Then keep chute blower in a working condition. Keep a fuel gas loss, radiation loss, blow down loss, excess air in control for proper functioning of the boiler, and stop steam leakage. If there is a steam leakage, there is a power consumptions are there, so avoid to steam leakage. Now energy conservation using good lighting scheme. As I said that in a home, usually we are employing the CFL instead of using the tube light. So CFL, as we all know that CFL having a low power consumption. So same way, good lighting scheme means what? In our country, 13% of total electricity is used for the illuminations. So employ the better illumination scheme. Illumination scheme can be classified into the domestic lighting system, industrial lighting system, street lighting system, and spotting lighting system. The good lighting practice: use CFL, compact fluorescent lamp, in place of a normal lamp. Then use energy efficient light instead of the conventional light. Then use electronic ballast instead of the magnetic ballast. Use metal halide lamp instead of the mercury or a sodium vapor lamp. Use high pressure sodium vapor lamp instead of the high pressure mercury lamp. Then use LED lamp maximum. Use proper design of the house, so maximum use of a daylight can be possible. So during the daylight, always illumination system should be such that proper ventilation should be there. So during the daylight you can use the sunlight, and you can keep the off the light of the room, so you can maximum save the energy. So your lighting system should be such that you can use the sunlight during the day period. So same, these all are the various method to save the energy into the industrial section. Hope you understood. Thank you.